Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Karen Marie and this is my channel Made by Karen Marie. Today is a bit of a different video from me because I am part this year of the wonderful vlogger tour for Sew Phoenix September, which is a new challenge that's set up by my lovely friend Rachel from the French Seams, Sam from Sew Let's Sparkle with Sam, and Katherine from Sowerton Makery. I had the good fortune of meeting all of these lovely ladies over at the Stitch Festival in London in March. So the minute they announced that they were going to do a new challenge, I jumped on the bandwagon straight away and asked to be part of the vlogger tour. I'm not going to talk about the rules or anything about this challenge because we are now sort of midway through, so I'm sure you've heard them before, but I'll leave all the information in the description box so you can check them out there. I also highly encourage you, of course, to watch the ladies themselves introduce the challenge, and then you can see all the lovely prizes and all of that. But there are several challenges that's going on in September. And there is one more, on a side note, that I will participate in, and that is the Precious Fabrics Challenge that's run by Whitney over at Tomcat Stitchery. But what I find really different with the Sew Phoenix September, and the reason why I love this idea so much, is that it doesn't really focus on a particular one garment that you've finished. It encourages you to kind of stop and reflect, having a look back at your sewing journey and sort of celebrate the fact that this is a learning journey for all of us. So even though maybe you've started sewing 2 months ago, I am sure that you've still managed to pick up a new skill or some new thoughts on your sewing journey. So whether you've been sewing for 50 years or you've been sewing for 5 weeks, doesn't matter. You're still eligible to participate in this challenge. And I absolutely love that idea. So today I am going to talk to you about jeans because that is perhaps my favorite kind of garment. I love jeans. I wear jeans almost every day, and in the summer I wear jeans shorts. I love jeans. But it has been quite difficult for me sometimes before I started sewing. It was quite difficult to find ready-to-wear jeans that fitted me because I'm pear-shaped. It was kind of difficult to find something that would be able to go over my hips and not gape at the waist. Particularly because I have also got a sway back, and that is not something I even knew what was until I started sewing. So I'm going to talk to you about jeans. If you just allow me one little moment to do exactly what we are taught to do, stop and reflect, look back and see generally what I've learned. I was taught how to sew in school. Yes, I'm that old. I still did that back when I was in school, which wasn't a terrible idea. I must say, I wish they would do that today. I went to school in a very rural, very small community with a small elementary school. There were 6 teachers and my mum was one of them. So we learned to sew in school. I actually have the first outfits I ever made. They were baby clothes, probably because, they wanted to save on fabrics. And that is still hanging in the closet in my old room back at the farm where I grew up. But I didn't have time to go up and get it. But it's still there in pink and mint colors. Yes, it was the 90s. But I must say that I kind of started sewing for real about the time where I lost my mum. She was, in addition to being a farmer, a teacher, and lots of other things, she was a brilliant sewist. So I also learned to sew from observing her and listening to her and all of that, but I wasn't ever interested in like sewing for real until maybe the year before she passed away. So then at that time, I had a toddler at home, and I started experimenting with sewing stretch fabrics. With mixed results in the beginning, I have to say. I don't have the first thing I ever made because I can't honestly remember what it was. But after my mum passed away in 2017, I kind of started to sew a little more. It was still like on a small scale, but I started making a few things for myself as well. And I was sort of amazed that I could actually do that. And then maybe a couple of years later, I think maybe in 2019 or something, my brilliant husband, who is, you know, the bee's knees, he bought me a new sewing machine, and that was the Pfaff that I currently use. And it just changed the whole sewing game, and suddenly I wanted to sew all the time. And I became much more prolific, but I also was able to sew much neater things and up my skills a lot with the new sewing machine. I had a very relatively cheap and not very sturdy AEG machine before I got the Pfaff that I currently use. So, I mean, and one of the first things that I made on my new machine was, if I can remember correctly, the Itch to Stitch Mountain View pull-on jeans. And to be able to sew jeans for myself felt really, really empowering. And I couldn't believe that they fit. They fit so much better than the store-bought ones. And yeah, I loved it from day one. So the Mountain View jeans are a pull-up jeans, so there are no zips and everything, because I didn't dare start with the zips. And I used those pair of jeans for a long, long while. That's not to say that they were perfectly sewn at all. They were not. I wore them until I actually managed to rip the back seam while I was at work, and I didn't notice. So I have my panties hanging out of today, which is like every time I see those trousers now, I still have them. I fixed the hole, but now I was like, oh my goodness. So embarrassing. So what we learned from that, always 2 rows. Yeah, 2 rows on the back seam. Yes. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about, first of all, generally what I've learned about sewing jeans. That's number 1. Then I will show you a couple of pairs of jeans that I've sewn with at least 3 years between them, so you can see my progress. And then I'll talk to you about some patterns that I want to use. So, lesson number 1 that I have learned the hard way is that quality of the denim matters. Denim is not denim. Even if you can get like 2 different denim fabrics with similar weights, similar contents, like 98% cotton, 2% elastane, that kind of thing, they have a very different feel and a very different quality sometimes. I've learned that by trial and error. And I'm still learning that because, as I will show you in a minute, the second pair of ginger jeans that I just sewed up last week, I've chosen the wrong fabrics. So, cautionary tale. In general, I never sew jeans with anything like lighter than 10 ounces. I prefer things that are much heavier than that. I prefer at least a 12 ounce. But getting a 12-ounce denim with a little bit of stretch is harder than you might think, because most of the like easily accessible denim to me is lighter than that, or it doesn't have stretch. My favorite patterns all require stretch. So yeah, that's something to consider. The best denim that I have, and my favorite pair of trousers of jeans that I've ever made, was a dead stock from a Norwegian company called Livid. They make jeans, very high quality jeans, and they use Japanese denim. Japanese denim is the best. It's just, you know, chef's kiss. It's perfect, but it's expensive. And that is like something to consider, obviously. So yeah, lesson number 1, quality denim matters. Lesson number 2, using the right interfacing is crucial. Which is what I'm going to show you in a moment when I show you the first pair of ginger jeans I made. Having like proper interfacing in the waistband makes all the difference. And I never use that kind of plasticky, papery stuff now. I only use woven interfacing. It is more expensive, but it's just a game changer. Number 3, I use a denim needle even though I'm sewing a stretch fabric, because I only sew 10 ounces or heavier weight jeans. I use a denim needle, and I use a new one for every project. So when I've sewn up my jeans, I actually throw away the needle, and that seems maybe a little wasteful, but especially like when you're sewing really heavy denim, it gets blunt. So yeah, a fresh new needle it makes all the difference. If I was sewing something like much lighter, a stretch denim, more like a maybe 7 ounce or something like that, for a skirt or things like that, then I would use a stretch needle, so not to kind of snag the fabric. How many are we up to now? Is it 4 or is it 5? Can't remember. That lesson is about like jeans are easy to sew. They're not difficult to sew at all. There are more pieces, but the instructions are usually good, and it is not difficult to sew jeans. What's difficult is to get them to fit, which is something that I am still learning. So in a moment, I will show you what I mean by that. Those are the things that I have learned in theory, but now I'm going to show you my 2 ginger jeans. That proves that I'm still learning. So, I haven't got a picture of me in them, sad to say, but yeah. These are the first pairs of ginger jeans I ever made. I've made them for my daughter, and I've made, I think, only this pair for myself. I think this is about 10 ounce, but it might be a little bit lighter. It has the proper amount of stretch, which is about maybe 2 to 3%. And I still wear these, but as you can probably see, they've started to come apart. Can you see that? It has come apart at the waistband has come apart there, and it's really difficult to get them like back on because the button is there. You know, and these were initially a little bit too big, and instead of doing like the proper work and removing the whole waistband and all of that and reattaching it, guess what I did? Yeah. I just sewed through the whole thing. Now, to be fair, I don't think that if I wore them and like people would say, oh, you know, I don't think that at all. But, you know, it's easy to see that that wasn't the proper way of doing it. I think I did it because I didn't have enough fabric to cut out a new waistband. And I knew it would be difficult to, first of all, like remove the whole waistband without like snagging the fabric, because that's pretty difficult with a denim. It tends to kind of show the white thread in it when you're unpicking. And I knew that it would be difficult to get around the button there again, because the button is so very close to that seam. So I think that's why I did it this way. Or I was lazy, maybe both. So I have not made the ginger jeans for myself many times, because I often prefer other patterns, but I really did want to try the ginger jeans again for myself. So I think last week I did sew up another pair of ginger jeans, and this was part of my sort of sewing for a conference plan, because I had this grey, like charcoaly grey denim that I got at the Stitch Festival from Rainbow Fabrics. And I thought, you know, a pair of like charcoaly grey denims might be really good for the conference. So I sewed this up, but I already knew when I was cutting it out that I was in trouble, because this is, first of all, not heavy enough, and it has way too much stretch. So what I should have done, well, I should have gotten better fabric, but what I should have done was to size down one size, because this actually became a little bit too big. Seeing as it has so much stretch, I should have sized down one size. And another thing that you will see from the video that I'm putting in, it's a little bit too long in the front rise. So it tends to wrinkle, like get a wrinkle right there across from my crotch. So that means that I have to, when I make this again, and I'm determined to get the fit right for these, I probably need to lower the front rise a tiny bit. I actually also have to raise the pockets, which is very unusual for me, because most of the like patterns I've tried, the pockets are way too high up for my taste. So I usually have to move them down a bit, and I didn't for this, and they're still like almost underneath my bum. So that is something that I will have to do. However, and it's still not perfect, but as you can see, the waistband is stitched a whole lot neater than the other one, and yeah, a little label there, but you can see that I missed it. I should have placed it a little further down, and you can see it is much neater on the inside, and that is because even though the fabric isn't better, the interfacing is. But I will be making another pair of ginger jeans to work on the fit. For the final part, I want to talk to you about some patterns that I am also going to use again. I have sewn all of these, and there are several of them that I want to try again. So I've already talked to you about the closet cord ginger jeans, which is kind of the like something that everyone knows what is, because everyone has sewn it, everyone. But there are also there are tons of jeans patterns out there. The Megan Nielsen Ash jeans are the ones that I've sewn the most. I have lost count of how many I've sewn with those. But I did have a collaboration with the lovely Rachael for French Seams last year, and that is when I made my expensive ash jeans from the Livid dead stock. And yeah, those are my favorite jeans ever. So I'm thinking that is partly the pattern, but it's also partly, like most of it, is the fabric. Then I've also sewn the Megan Nielsen Dawn jeans for myself and for my daughter, but they fit my daughter much better, and she is much like straighter through her waist and hips than I am. So it might be that the kind of fit of them isn't as like made for me. I have made them several times, but I've never been able to fit them quite right. Then there is the I Am Pattern Sunshine jeans, and I made the barrel leg version. They don't suit me. That kind of like the barrel leg shape doesn't suit me because I'm pear-shaped. So what I did with that, I cut them off and I used them as shorts, and I've worn those things to near disintegration now. So I am really keen to try the other version of the Sunshine jeans that has a straight leg. Then I have made the Laura Piar Farra jeans, Farra pants, Farra jeans. What I love about those is that they have a different yoke on the back, which makes it so much easier to fit for a sway back. I really love that pattern, but it's too high rise for me. It's too long in the front rise in particular. So if I make it again, I have to shorten the front rise because it's pooling in the front. I also made those from a not very high quality denim. So yeah, yeah, they don't really work. I wear them at home, but not out. Then I have also, these aren't really jeans as such, but I made them in like a denim fabric, so I guess that counts. That's the Friday Pattern Company Flaneur pants. And they have an elasticated back, but they still have like all the jeans button and the zip and all of that in the front. Yeah. Those are like the things that I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to be honest with you about the new pair of ginger jeans that I sewed up, because that's the whole idea about this challenge, is about, you know, celebrating your like wins, celebrating what you've learned, your new skills, your learning journey, but also to realize that it's okay if you make a mistake. And my new ginger jeans are totally wearable, but they're not going to be my favorite. So I am still looking for the perfect jeans, the perfect pattern, the perfect denim fabric and all of that. And I may never find it, but that's kind of the idea too, is to keep trying, keep learning. And yeah, I am going to be making another pair of ginger jeans. I'm not sure that I'll be able to do it in September because I have so many other things to do. But I really want to work on the fit of the ginger jeans and many, many other jeans patterns that I have as well. That was it for me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this content. If you have, it would be lovely if you subscribe to my channel or even gave me a like. But I will leave you now for the rest of your weekend, and I hope you have some lovely time to sew this weekend. I'll be back soon with another video. Take care. Bye bye.